All right, let's get this thing rolling. Hi, my name's Chip Brewster. You can call me Chip, and I am going to attempt 60 days on the ketogenic diet. Before we get to the diet, though, I want you to get to know me and some of the preparations I've taken. So a little about me first. I consider myself a regular, everyday guy. I'm not really a fitness buff. I honestly haven't worked out since March, haven't been to a gym since March. In fact, in October, my full-time job turned a bit sedentary. So not only have I not been working out, I haven't really been moving at all. I eat fairly healthy, but it's not like I track what I eat. You know, we buy fairly healthy and then I just pick and go from there. I will say this though, we have a 16-month-old, and as of late, I have been finishing pretty much every single one of her meals, whether I was really hungry or not. I hate wasting food. And I'm pretty sure that in addition to the sedentary, in addition to the stop working out, has led to the weight gain that I've experienced over the last few months. I am at the heaviest I've ever been. And I know what you're saying, like, well, you're not that heavy, and you're right, but it's still not something that I'm particularly happy about. My biggest problem is that I can't self-motivate to work out. I was doing CrossFit before COVID came in, and I was paying that to do that because that was motivating me. The community, the people, the workouts, I could make it happen. I've got gear at home. I've got a wife who works out, but I just cannot get my lazy butt off the couch to break a sweat. So if I can't get myself to move, I wanted to try something in the eating department. And I have lots of friends and I've heard lots of stories who have done the ketogenic or keto diet. And so I figured, why not? Let's give it a try. So what is keto? For those not familiar with the diet, a brief overview. Ketogenic diet is about getting your body into a metabolic state of ketosis, where instead of using glucose, which is a sugar that your body creates from carbohydrates, instead, you use ketones, which your liver creates from accessing the fat stores in your body. So essentially, it is a diet that turns your energy burning system from carbs to fat. The whole premise is low carb, and there are a lot of low carb diets out there. I'm sure you've heard of some of them, the South Beach diet, the Atkins diet. Eating paleo tends to be low carb. The difference though between a keto and one of those is this is the most restrictive carbohydrate diet. It has a daily calorie intake breakdown. 5% comes from carbohydrates, 25% from protein, 70% of your calories from fat. So yeah, fat is the focus of this thing. For those that will be following along at home or maybe interested in this diet, the key here, of course, is the carbs. And you count your carbs, you do something called net carbs, where you take total carbohydrates and subtract fiber and certain sugar alcohols because they aren't processed the same way as the other carbs. And that's what gets your body into that state of ketosis. The real tricky part about this diet, as if counting carbs to that degree wasn't enough, is it takes like 4 to 5 days to have your body actually get into that state. And if you eat too many carbs, you leave that state. So not only do I have to be carb restricted for at least 5 days to get there, I then have to maintain that. I cannot break that, otherwise it's another 5 days of this just to get into this ketosis state. So why keto versus some of the other diets out there, just watching what I eat? Honestly, it's mostly just curiosity. I've heard about this diet. As I mentioned, I have friends and army buddies who have done it and praise it, family members who have done it. And we, with the COVID thing and working at home, have really put ourselves into this situation where we can experiment like this. All the food we're eating is at home. We're not going out to eat. So it's a much easier thing to control exactly what I am consuming because the only options I have are the ones that I am allowing myself to have. So between the lack of fitness, the current environment that I am living in, and the whole goal of slimming down the fatty midsection a little bit, keto just seemed like the right move. I'm not going to get into research on the diet because that's not what this is all about. And I am not a scientist. Like I said, I really feel like I'm an everyday guy. But there is plenty out there for those that are curious. It's called Google, and you type in Keto and stuff is going to pop up. That said, real quick, some pros and cons that I had read about. Pros, it's a focused fat loss system. It forces you to pay close attention to what you eat. You learn about what is in food. So if you've never done a diet before, you're just getting an education out of trying to do this one. And though restricted calories does lead to weight loss, fat and protein make you feel fuller longer, and thus you may not even have to count calories, only the carbs. Some of the cons, on the other hand, there's this thing called the keto flu. It is what happens to you when your body goes through the transition from using glucose for energy to ketones. Some of the side effects I've read about: fuzzy brain, headache, fatigue, dizziness, irritability, most of which can be attributed to losing excess fluid. I guess a high carb diet causes us to retain water, and so it's essentially becoming dehydrated and lacking salts and minerals. I also don't think that this is a long-term sustainable diet. There are people out there that will argue with me, but just me personally, I do look forward to eating carbs again in about 60 days. Supposedly there may be some constipation as well. I guess I'll find out when I get there, but I guess a lot of fiber is found in those carb-heavy foods, and so a decrease in fiber may lead to constipation. Honestly, I read the exact opposite somewhere else, so I'll keep you informed without too much detail, I promise. And then the possibility of a nutrient deficiency. When you limit your choices and you cut out fruits and a good number of vegetables, you just don't have as much opportunity to get the things that your body needs. Now, this is my day 0 prepping for the keto diet video. So I want to talk through some of the things that I've done getting ready to switch to this little to no carb diet. First and foremost, we went grocery shopping and we got a ton of stuff. The different snacks, a lot of meat, some of the things we'd even read about, like this keto ice cream. And anything left in the house got put into the garage. Along those lines, I made a couple of printouts, put them up on the fridge, just some quick and easy references as to the things I should focus on when I'm eating. Also downloaded an app that I'd read about a whole bunch, and when I made a Facebook Live about going keto, this app got brought up a whole ton too. And just from perusing through and doing a couple of test entries, I feel like this thing is going to save me. If my whole goal is counting carbs, this little baby's doing it for me. And then I also made a spreadsheet. Because I am doing a daily video and it's really a big experiment for myself, I wanted to track as much data as I could. So I'm gonna update this thing every day. You're gonna see that as a part of the videos, and then we'll get this cool little synopsis at the end of how it all went down. Speaking of those daily videos, let me give you a little rundown what you can expect. First, we begin with those body measurements. I've got a scale that claims to tell me my body fat percentage, my water percentage, my muscle weight, and of course my overall weight. I don't know how scientifically accurate the thing is, but I do know it's measuring something. And so we're gonna find out if those somethings are decreasing, increasing, not changing, what have you, as this diet goes along. I'll also be giving you video and breakdown of every single thing that I eat. I'm talking about the macros in the meals and the snacks, the calories, even the cost that I'm tracking. And then on top of all of that, how I'm feeling each day. A little morning feel, a little recap of the evening, and then once a week, a weekly synopsis. On top of the daily videos, I'm gonna be doing some extra measurements and photos. If all goes to plan, I'm gonna have some really cool stuff to show you at the very end of all this. And I'm hoping it involves a skinnier Chip. A couple of final things for you to end this preparation video. I want everyone to know that nothing is sponsored in this video series. I'm making these really for myself, not only to document the journey, but also because I love video production. It has been my career for the last decade, and so this is fun for me. So when you see things mentioned like the Carb Manager app or me eating certain types of foods or products, those are my genuine choices. There are links in the descriptions of videos that go to like an Amazon affiliate store that if you click through and buy something, I'll get a little financial benefit. But I'm not here to push those. I'm just including them because if this video takes off and I can make $10, I'll take the $10. And finally, I am on other social media platforms. So if you look for Chip Brewster on Facebook or Instagram, you'll find me there. And then of course, the typical YouTube pitch: like, comment, subscribe, share, all that stuff. It's what every YouTuber I've ever seen says at the end of their video. And who knows, maybe this video series will do more than just entertain me for a little bit. Maybe it'll give someone some genuine information that they've been looking for. Now, I wish this regular guy some luck, and let's get this diet started.